I didn't really like Wall Street. Everybody was so greedy and cutthroat, and I wasn't that kind of person. If I were, I'd probably be a billionaire by now. And I didn't stay on Wall Street long. I started in 1978, as I mentioned before, with Paul Walensky. First 6 months, I was pushing paper. I was trying to understand transactions by looking at paper, confirmations. About 2 months after that, one day, he said, when I got to the office, he said, "Come on into the trading room and sit next to me." So I sat next to them in the trading room. I watched him trade. A couple months later, he said, "Okay, I'm going to give you $1 million of my money and I want you to trade." And I started to get the hang of it. By the end of, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months of trading, I was actually making money for him. Not a lot, but I wasn't down. And my first year came, anniversary, so to speak, and he and his partner, a fellow named Mark Sherman, brought me into their office one day and he said, "We want to make you a partner in the firm." About a year went by. I had developed a good friendship with the chief financial officer of the firm. And we would go out to lunch, and we'd go out to coffee, and we'd commiserate. And he was an experienced accountant, experienced Wall Street guy, young, my age, but he had a few years under his belt. And we decided, well, if they can do it, if they can make $10 million a year, we can make $10 million a year. So I quit. Before I got my first job on Wall Street, I was at NYU getting my master's degree in cultural anthropology, and to make a living and pay my bills, I was driving a yellow taxi in Manhattan on the weekends. During the week, I would work in the evenings in a liquor store as a cashier and an inventory person, which allowed me to also study, because in the evening the liquor store during the week wasn't that busy. So that's how I made a living and how I paid my way through college and through NYU, studying cultural anthropology. I always loved gold. I was fascinated by gold. Again, being a cultural anthropologist and a student of history, gold has a wonderful history throughout every society on the planet. So I was always interested in gold, and I was interested in trading gold. Between 1983 and 1987, I was actually the largest gold trader in the world in terms of volume. I was trading in terms of today's dollars about almost $2 billion of gold a day. And coming from cultural anthropology, which is the study of cultures and human behavior, I think it really helped me take a different approach towards the markets, because most of the traders and analysts that are out there come from the hard sciences. All they think about are numbers. And the markets are much more than numbers. They're people. It's all about people. I chose Bangkok because it's so centrally located in Asia. In 2 hours, you can be just about anywhere in Asia. In 2 hours, you can be in Hong Kong, you can be in Singapore, you can be in Kuala Lumpur in 2.5 hours, you can be in Mumbai in 4 hours, you can be in Shanghai in 5 hours, or Beijing in 6 hours, or Macau in an hour and a half. It's such a great central location for covering all of Asia. It's wonderful. And the cost of living in Thailand is much, much cheaper than virtually everywhere else in Asia. We have a house in the suburbs, Nonthaburi, and nothing fancy. My son is 4 years old and he's already fluent in Thai, and I actually learned from him. Do a lot of Legos. He's fascinated by Legos. He has a whole Lego collection already, maybe about 20 Legos. And most of them we build together, But he can build, he's 4 years old and he's already building the 7 to 9-year-old category all by himself. I have a feeling he's going to be an architect or an engineer. He loves taking things apart and putting them back together. I grew up with a father who was very rigid in terms of what he wanted his children to do. And I had some problems with that. I always taught my kids, you've got to do what you love. If you're not doing what you love, you're going to be unhappy. If you're doing what you love, it's not a job, and the rewards will come.